What up? Yo, it's Jeff, and I have more chord voicings for you. For the idea, well, I guess I'll just briefly cover it. Within each key, there's a certain way that you need to play the chords so that they sound good together. And I'm showing to you some of my favorites. And different types of styles of music have different ways of doing this. And this just happens to be my favorite. And I guess, it'd be like a modern rock pop sound. So that's what it is. So we're going to look at the key of G. The chords we'll be learning today are G, C, D, and E minor. Maybe not in that order, but it's it's the 1, 4, 5, and 6 chords. 1, 6, 5, 4. Those. Okay, we need to do a lesson for that because I'll talk about that. But yeah, that's a whole different lesson. So you probably already know these chords, but let's look at how we can voice them in the key of G to sound ultra delicious. All right. Oh, you're already convinced, aren't you? All right, so here we go. G. I'm out of tune. This is going to be 3, 2, open, open, and then 3, 3. Don't develop your ear, because once you do, you start to hear all the guitars that are out of tune around you, and your life just honestly gets worse. Alright, so there's G. And now let's look at C. So you're going to keep these two. Like that. Sorry about that. Your thumb is going to mute the E string. Alright, so there's G, C. Now my thumb honestly just hangs out there between those two chords. Okay, now let's take a look at the D chord. My thumb again is muting this string. Okay, so we have open, open, 2, 3, 2. Right, this is a pretty standard voicing, but the thumb, dude, it's so crucial. If you have E opening in the bass, I'm gonna find you and I'm gonna punch you straight in the head. Alright, now let's look at E minor. This chord, we want the E to be ringing out in the bass. Okay, so we've got 0, 2, 2, 0, 3, 0. Cool, and I currently have this going on, which would be an E minor 7. Now you can also use your pinky, so you can do this. You can do that one too. There's lots of variations. So let's look at the fills for the key of G. For this chord, something that I like to do is play the G with my thumb and mute the A string, which leaves me to play. Alright, so from there, and we also have this. Okay, that's a little bit easier. Yeah, let's start with those first. So your first finger can go on all of those middle strings on fret 2, creating some of that much needed tension for your song. Now let's look at what I did before. Using my thumb to play this. My first finger to hammer on, I'm on the G string here, 0, 2, 4. Okay, so I hammer on to. So, I mean, a lot of times, like these acoustic songs, to me, they're missing the melody. You want to create, even internally on your guitar, create that melody, especially during instrumental sections, and maybe even a counter melody while the vocal is happening. So we have 0, 2, and 4 on the G string. You also have 0, 2, and 4 on the D string. So great. And now on the E string, you're going to have 3 and 2 and open. So it's like. This note, because let's be honest, we don't really need that note. Alright, cool. There's G. Now, try and remember 0, 2, 4, 0, 2, 4, 3, 0, 2, 3 for like each string. Just keep that shape in mind, because it's all about grabbing those same notes on the other chords. So we got C now. And we get all the same stuff. Alright, now in context, playing those same notes over the 4 chord is certainly different. So yeah, don't, again, use your ears and experiment and see what it sounds like with the new music. So yeah. Yeah, so one thing you shouldn't be doing is playing C and F sharp together, because that's a tritone, and an interval so wicked that the Catholic Church actually outlawed it way back in the day. It's called the Devil's Note, or the Devil's Interval, something I don't remember. But for real, when you play it like this, besides the mistakes, it sounds really nice. I don't know why, but you know. So you can create that like melody and carry it across the chords, and life is good. You might notice some of those shapes from D suspended, D, and D2. And of course you can. Okay. That covers D, sort of. Sorry. I don't want to move too fast, but at the same time, it's a lot of the same thing over and over again. So please, if you have questions, feel free. So here's our E minor chord, 022-030, and now we basically can lift up any of these fingers, but you would never do that one. That's, I don't know, that's retarded. I mean, maybe you do this one, but like, you know, the money is all up here. Don't know your major scale, you should learn your major scale, become familiar with it, because this process is all about taking the major scale and fitting it on the guitar where your hands currently are. Alright, so key of G, we've got G. You might call that G5 because we're taking out the third there, especially if you do it like this without your first finger. You certainly have G5. Alright, now we're going to have C2, D, with A in the bass, but let's not get too picky. Also, sometimes for effect, I will use my thumb to mute the A, because it has a cleaner sound. So if it's like a very quiet moment and the chords need to sound like crisp and clean, I'll mute the A, so that just the D rings out. But if it's like a big heavy moment, the A gets lost and it becomes part of the thickness. So that's kind of my guideline for that. E minor is E minor 7, D, straight up D yo, and maybe some D suspended. And once you get those delicious voicings down, you can play all your favorite songs, like, you know, that's More Than a Feeling, but I don't really know that one. I Got a Feeling. All these, which we didn't really cover this one at all because I'm not very thorough. But hey, that's a good one. That's for a more I don't want to call it less rock, but it would be like a more folky rock type thing, where these are just a little bit, because they involve less thirds. I feel like it's more plain rock sound, average white guy rock, what have you. So there you go. I got a feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That's the key G. Thanks for listening.